Today we are here with Chelsea Oliver, Democratic candidate for the 4th Legislative House District serving Erie County, Pennsylvania. Chelsea, you were born and raised in Elwood City, about 30 miles outside of Pittsburgh, earned bachelor's and master's degrees at Seton Hill and Point Park Universities in and near Pittsburgh, have called Corey home for the past 8 years, and now proudly call yourself a small town girl. What is it that you've come to love about living in rural Northwest Pennsylvania?
Well, Steve, thank you for that introduction. What I'm really passionate about of being in a small town and having that environment is the sense of community and really how people rise up together. If one of us is in need, people step in for them. So especially in Corey, it's so obvious when, like a family's house burns down, there's a fundraiser the next day to provide them with essential items. So just that really coming together of folks and building a community together is what I love about living in a small town.
Okay. Your civic engagement since coming to Corey is impressive. You've served on the boards of 3 nonprofit organizations, taught community technology courses, written a newspaper column about millennial issues, co-founded the Corey Young Professional Network, served on the Corey Strategic Plan Steering Committee, were named the Corey Area Chamber of Commerce Volunteer of the Year, participated in the Jefferson Educational Society's Civic Leadership Academy, and served on Corey City Council, with most of this volunteerism coming while working as a marketing specialist for the Corey Federal Credit Union. What drives you to be so involved in the community?
So I'm going to give a shout out to my parents on this one because it's really been ingrained in my brother and I since we were really little. So my mom always took us to church functions and we volunteered at everything in the community. And my dad is a local contractor, so of course everyone knows him and he's the guy to go to if you're ever in need. And so that has really been something that's constantly been in my life. So I'm going to give them that shout out. But also it's such a motivation now as an adult to see how you can impact somebody else's life and really giving of your time and energy and that coming back to you in so many ways and so many different avenues is just motivation to keep working and doing this good work.
Great, thank you. So now you've turned your focus to running for the state legislature, seeking to serve a wide swath of Erie County, ranging from Girard through Edinburgh, Waterford, Union City, Corey, and up through Wattsburg and Northeast. So why are you running for state representative?
So I'm running for state representative because our district deserves someone who is a political leader and a true community champion. And I have, as you've mentioned, I have the experience in all of that. It's really important that we have leaders who have that background, who have been in this work. So it's one thing to recognize the folks doing that work and, making a good mention of them. It's another thing to have your hands dirty with your neighbors and making progress in your community. So I'm running because I know what that work is about. And I know that there's so many folks across this district doing that work, and we deserve to be represented in a way and by someone who really gets that and really understands all of that emphasis on building your community.
Okay, so what did you learn from your time on Corey City Council that you believe will serve you well in the legislature?
I had a great council to work with, a lot of great mentors in that group, and the thing that I recognized the most was that at the local level and even at the state level, so I'm going to take this as a state rep, you're really serving your neighbor. This isn't so much about your party politics. It's really about, are your kids getting a good education? Are your teachers well paid? Do you have affordable health care? Are your roads paved? So is there a park in your neighborhood? That's the kind of stuff that this level of government covers and not anything that's divisive. We really are coming together and serving our neighbors at this level.
Okay. You visited several of the communities in the 4th Legislative District while participating in the Jefferson Educational Society's Civic Leadership Academy. What common needs do you see these smaller, more rural communities having?
So Also another shout out to the Jefferson, because that was such an influential program and it's so well done. It's having that opportunity in Erie County is amazing and incredible. So through that experience, yes, we did get to go through all of Erie City, all of Erie County, and see that all of these folks are working towards very common goals. And seeing that across America, where we keep hearing about like the small town is dying or these rural communities don't have a chance, when really there's so much happening, there's so many opportunities that our folks can get involved with, and small towns aren't dying here in Erie County. So getting to have that opportunity and seeing how this is expanding throughout District 4 especially was really inspirational.
Okay. One of your priorities is connecting the 4th Legislative District technologically by improving access to broadband internet. What have we learned, particularly through the pandemic, about why that's important?
So especially with the pandemic, we were recognizing that we were sending kids home and we weren't able to educate them. So especially in the counties, Erie City was more so able to provide online learning from the beginning or close to the beginning. But especially like in Corey, our school district wasn't equipped to do that because so many folks don't have access to internet. So we weren't giving our people the same kind of education, the same level of opportunity. And especially moving forward, we need to make sure and government needs to make sure that internet and high-speed internet is a utility. This is something that we can't move forward with without recognizing how important it is in our daily lives. So a lot of my platform does come down from providing that high-speed internet access, because this is also, this isn't just watching Netflix at night. This is getting a better education, having training opportunities, workforce development, healthcare, telehealth, being able to provide all of these services, banking, right on your porch. So all of these things we need to be able to provide. And if rural communities are not given that same opportunity, then we're going to be left behind.
Okay. Making healthcare and mental health resources more available to residents of the legislative district is also one of your focuses. What are your concerns in those areas?
So specifically with mental health, I will talk a little more personally here. Right before the pandemic, I made note to put more emphasis on my own mental health and make that a top priority for myself. And it was transformational for me. So especially now that we've all been through this traumatic experience with the pandemic, it's something that we need to put priority on. We need to take the stigma out of giving yourself and being able to provide that mental health care. Now, I also recognize that me being able to receive that care throughout these past few years is a privilege. And it's not affordable to most people to do. It's something that we have to put on the back burner because it's not accessible. So especially after the pandemic, especially after we've asked so much of so many folks, that has to be something that is accessible.
Okay, your platform mentions agritourism and preserving green spaces as priorities. Can you tell us more about what makes those areas important?
Absolutely, especially in District 4. If you're not talking about agriculture or the ways to advance farming into the future, then you are not best representing our folks. So this is such a huge area, such a big industry for us, and we need to make sure that people not only are recognizing where their food is coming from, but who's providing it and how we can move forward in the future with these areas. So some people don't know what agritourism is, but a really great example that is right here in District 4 is Port Farms. And they're working around the year, making great business and really expanding into their communities and driving business forward and bringing that money into our local communities. So I'm talking about opportunities like that. And then I'm also talking about what I really worked with on City Council, which was preserving those green spaces, making parks and trail development, because in government, we don't really talk about the quality of life, but especially when we're talking about rural communities and small towns, that's so vital to the folks that live here.
Okay, let's turn our attention specifically to the upcoming election.
Okay.
So you'll no doubt have the support of registered Democrats in November, but in this politically polarized age, what's your message to independents and Republicans about why they should consider voting for you?
So I do want to take a moment to shout out to all of the Democrats who have kind of come out of the woodwork to support me in the past few months since I have announced. I am the first Democrat to be running for this district in over a decade. So I recognize the honor that is for me, and I really appreciate the support of folks behind me in that. For other parties, I want to make mention back to what I said about City Council and really working in those localized politics. That's what this is about. So we really need a leader who is empathetic and in touch with all of the folks in our district. And that's who we're really putting into Harrisburg in this space. So who is doing the work? Who has this background in transformational change, and who's really going to take us the next step forward? That's who you should be voting for, not necessarily write down a party line, because that might not be, especially with this localized level of politics, who's best representing your neighbors.
Okay. And finally, why, the bottom line question, I guess, why are you the best candidate for the state legislature? Why should residents of the 4th Legislative District entrust their vote to you in November?
So I should be entrusted with this vote because I truly believe that I am the best candidate and I have the track record to prove it. So I am that political leader. I am that true community champion, and we can talk all day and probably mostly agree that we all just went through a terrible thing with the pandemic. The government shouldn't be able to interfere with your life that much. We agree with that. But who sees the vision of moving us forward and moving us to the next level? And who is going to take us there? Probably, most likely, someone who has actually been a part of that change, has done this transformational work within their community, and who knows and empathizes with all walks of life, who's able to work with all kinds of people and really make change and community happen. That's who we're voting for in November.
Okay. So Chelsea, if voters want to find out more about you, how can they do that?
Yeah, so my website is votechelseaoliver.com. You can definitely reach out and see me more through there. You can take a deeper dive into each of my platform pieces and really get to know me more there. But also, if you want to see the day-to-day kind of behind the scenes of the campaign journey and really what we're working on each day, that would be on Facebook or Instagram at Vote Chelsea Oliver, or through Twitter at Vote Chelsea O.
Well, thank you, Chelsea, and good luck in the election.
Yes, thank you, Steve.